Welcome back to Sanjay Godawat, IIT and Medical Academy. I am Ramesh, Zoology faculty. The next topic in body fluid and circulation, human circulatory system. Okay, human circulatory system is very important and interesting topic in the body fluid and circulation. It's the main topic in the body fluid and circulation, right? And objective wise very important. Human circulatory system. Human circulatory system consists mainly heart, blood and the blood vessels. Okay, so already we are discussed about the blood in the beginning topic of body fluid and circulation. Okay, so the introduction about the blood, the composition of blood like plasma and formed elements. Okay, and mainly we are focusing on the heart and the blood vessels. Okay, so the structure of heart with mechanism very important. First, heart. Some introduction about the heart. Human heart is a myogenic, mesodermal origin and the clenched fist size. First, myogenic. What is myogenic? Means muscles, heart muscles can regulate the cardiac activity, right? So that is called myogenic. Okay, in the heart 95% cardiac muscles, 5% belongs to smooth muscle, right? So cardiac muscles can regulate the heart activity, hence it is called myogenic. Okay, next to mesodermal. Okay, origin is nothing but during embryonic development. Okay, heart is formed by mesodermal germinal layers. Among the three germinal layers, the middle layer, that is a mesoderm germinal layer, develop human heart. Hence, it is called mesodermal origin. And the size, nothing but is our clenched fist. This is size of the heart. And next to position, heart situated in mediastinum. Okay, mediastinum is nothing but between the two lung portion called the mediastinum, right? If you take the diagram of the mediastinum in the thoracic chamber, right? This is the trachea and the bronchi, lungs. So this is our lungs. Right? This is right lung and this is left lung. Okay, the lungs separated by mediastinum. Between the two lung portion is a mediastinum. In the mediastinum, human heart is present, right? In a cardiac notch. This is cardiac notch. Cardiac notch belongs to the left lung. It's a curve-like structure. Okay. In the cardiac notch, human heart is present like this. Okay, heart situated in the mediastinum just towards left lung within a notch surface, right? That is the exact position of the heart, mediastinum. Next to pericardium. Pericardium is nothing but the protective structure of the heart, that is a mediastinum. Okay, heart is protected by double wall membrane called pericardium, right? Helps protection, includes two layer, outer fibrous and inner serous. Whereas if you take like a human lungs also protected by the dual, right? Outer parietal, inner visceral, right? This is pleural membrane, outer parietal, inner visceral. In between pleural membranes like a pleural space filled with pleural fluid act like a shock absorbing protection from the external shocks, right? That is the same way like a protective structure, double wall membrane present in the heart, that is called pericardium, right? If you take the pericardium and includes two layers, outer fibrous and inner serous, right? This is outer fibrous and inner serous include two layers, right? This is outer parietal and this is inner visceral. In between these two layers, the space called pericardial space or cavity. Okay, space or cavity. This is pericardial space or cavity. Pericardial space filled with fluids. Pericardial, right? Pericardial fluids. Pericardial fluids act as a shock, okay, absorbing medium, right? It's protection. So, once again, like pericardium's two outer fibrous, inner serous. Inner serous include two, parietal and the inner visceral. Outer parietal, inner visceral. This is outer parietal, okay, and the inner viscerals. This is inner visceral. In between the space, that is a pericardial space. Pericardial space with the pericardial fluids act like a shock absorbing protection. This is pericardium, right? In that, epicardium is another name of the inner visceral, right? This is inner visceral. Inner visceral also called epicardium is the outermost two, okay, heart wall, okay, that is epicardium. In the heart, okay, wall, if you take the layers of heart wall, total 3 layers, okay, is the outer, this is middle and this is inner, right? This is outer epicardium, the middle myocardium is a thick layer and the inner endo, right? Endocardium, this is innermost. The outer and the inner both are the thin layer, whereas the middle is a thick layer, right? With abundant of the muscles, the cardiac muscles, okay, in that mostly in the hearts, okay, heart muscles if you take, like in that maximum 95, the 95% muscle belongs to the cardiac muscles, whereas 5% muscle belongs to smooth muscles. The most abundant muscles layer in the heart wall, that is myocardium, right? The outer and inner very thin, whereas the endocardium is the innermost, is closely adherent to the hearts with abundant blood vessels, right? This is pericardium and the layers of hearts, right? If you take the layers of heart, total 3 layers, epi, myo and endo is outer. Epi means outer, myo means muscles, middle, endo means inner, right? Inner, right? And this is like endo, myo and epi, total 3. This is inner, this is middle, this is outer wall, okay, epicardium, this is epicardium, this is myo and this is inner, okay, this is pericardium, protection. Now we go to the structure, right? The structure of heart is very important. This is outer view of the heart, human heart, okay, with the different parts, okay, aorta, pulmonary artery, left atria, right atrium, superior vena cava, right, inferior vena cava, right. This is pulmonary wall, different labels. This is outer view diagram. This is inner view of the hearts, okay, outer and the inner. Next, the chambers. If you take the chambers in the heart total, okay, in crocodile, apes and mammals, okay, including humans, 4 chamber of heart, right? If you take the human heart, include 4 chambers, like right atria, okay, left atria, right ventricle, left ventricles, total 4 chambers, upper to small, okay, thin wall chambers atria, the lower to large thick wall chambers ventricles, okay, this is atria and ventricles with the different valves, okay, different valves in the heart. If you take the detail, okay, like a diagram about the hearts, I am taking the different separate slide for the structure of the hearts. right? On a clear board, this is the human heart structure. Right, and this is the lower two chambers, the ventricles walls, and this is upper two chambers, auricles. Right, and the ventricle walls much thick walls than the auricles. Right, this is heart diagram. In that, the upper two small chambers, two chambers, that is the auricle or atria, the lower two large chambers, ventricles. The first auricles, then followed by the ventricles. The upper two small chambers called the auricles or atria, right? Atria also called receiving chambers because always receive the blood from the different directions of the body, right? That is a receiving, whereas ventricles called pumping because they pump the blood to the different directions, called pumping chambers. Okay, so total 4, right atria, left atria, right ventricle and the left ventricle. Auricles, both the right and the left auricles, okay, separated by inner auricular septum. This is inner auricular septum or barrier, right? Due to presence of the inner atrial septum or inner auricular septum, right, atria divide into right and the left. Okay, among the two atria, okay, right is atria is a large chamber than the left. Okay, next in inner atrial septum, there is a small opening in fetal stage, small opening called foramen oval. This is foramen oval. Okay, small opening present in the fetal stage of heart at inner atrial septum called foramen oval. Foramen oval helps to, okay, blood circulation, blood supply. Okay, so that is a foramen oval. Means in the fetal stage what happened? Right atria receiving oxygenated bloods, fetal stage from the placenta. Whereas left atria, okay, so like generally so, okay, receive blood from the, okay, lungs in the adult stages. Whereas in the fetal stage, lungs are non-functional, right? In the growing stage or fetal stage, lungs are non-functional stage, right? Result, no exchange of gases takes place in the lungs, right? So that's why, okay, it does not receive like a blood from the oxygenated blood from the lungs. Okay, whereas the right atrial blood enter into left atria by this opening, foramen oval, right? From these two chambers, blood enter into the ventricles. Means in the both the ventricles carry the same blood, that is the oxygenator. And from these ventricles, blood supply to the different body parts. The maximum blood, right ventricle bloods in the adults move towards lungs. Okay, almost all blood, right? But in the fetal stage, okay, right ventricle's bloods, among the blood, okay, move towards body parts by ductus arteriosus, right? If you take the ductus arteriosus, right? This is the ventricle, right ventricle, left ventricle. Right ventricles, the oxygenated bloods, this is pulmonary trunk, this is pulmonary artery, right, and here lungs are present. Almost, okay, 98% bloods, okay, 98% of blood move towards, okay, ductus, okay, arteriosus. Ductus arteriosus towards aorta. This is aorta. Maximum blood move towards, okay, ascending aorta. This is descending, right? So only 2% blood move towards lungs because lungs are non-functional. The maximum blood supply towards pulmonary trunk towards, okay, aorta by ductus arteriosus. This is smaller tubular connection, ductus arteriosus, and from these tubules, ducts, blood supply to the body parts. After exchange, the blood, deoxygenated blood first transport to the placenta. In the placenta exchange, okay, oxygen, right, carbon dioxide exchange, then move towards hearts. Okay, so that is a function of foramen valve in the fetal stage. Now, okay, so fetal stage of these foramen valve supply helps to the supply, right? At the time of delivery, what happened? This foramen valve is closed as a, okay, closed as a remand, that is called fossa ovalis. Okay, means at the time of delivery, when the lungs become functional, what happened? The foramen valve is closed. When it is closed, what happened? There is no, okay, connection between the right atrium and left atrium. That is fossa ovalis developed at the time of delivery and when the lungs become functional stage. Okay, at the same time, ductus arteriosus also closed, okay, as a tissue, that is a ligamentum arteriosum, and the maximum blood supply to the lungs. Okay, the lungs become functional. Here in the lungs, what happened? Exchange of the gases. Okay, and placenta also removed at the time of delivery. Right, this is in some children's, right, this is fossa ovalis closed. In some children's, foramen valve not closed, even after delivery also is not closed. That is called patent. Okay, foramen valve is very danger for the child, right? Generally, at the time delivery, foramen valve closed as a ovalis, but in some children it's not closed, that is called patent foramen valve. Okay, that is a danger because blood become mixed. When the foramen valve is not closed, what happen? Okay, here the blood become mixed, right? And the body parts receiving mixed blood, that is very danger. So that's why we have to close this valve after delivery by the surgical method. And now, this is right atria, right? Right atria and the left atria also separated from the ventricles, right? This is inner atrial septum information. And now we go to the, this is inner auriculoventricular septum. This is inner auriculoventricular, means auricle separated from ventricles also by, this is the partition called inner, means present between, center, right? Inner auriculoventricular barrier, inner auriculoventricular septum, also called coronary sulcus, coronary sulcus, that is another name. Okay, and next we go to the rights. Right atria open into right side of the ventricles by small opening. This is the opening called right auriculoventricular opening. Right auriculoventricular opening or aperture. Whereas the left atria also same, open into the left side of the ventricle by another opening. This is the opening called left, right? Left auriculoventricular opening. or aperture. Okay, so these openings helps forward the blood from atria towards ventricle. Now, the valves, okay, in this opening, valves are present. This is the valves. Okay, this is called tricuspid valve. Okay, so three narrow pointed structure. This is tricuspid valve. Here bicuspid. This is bicuspid. Okay, bicuspid valve. Another name mitral valve, right? Two narrow pointed structures like this, bicuspid. Now, what is function of these valves? Okay, so valves, tri and bicuspid valve, also called AV valve, right? Atrioventricular valves help forward the bloods, okay, into one direction like this, atria towards ventricles only, and there is no back movements. Okay, that is a valve function preventing back flow. During auricle systole, atria blood enter into ventricles because the valve open, right? And whereas ventricle systole, okay, ventricles bloods, okay, it's not back into the atria because the valve get closed, its aperture. Results, there is no back movements. That is a valve, right? This is the opening valve. This is valve, right? It's open like a door. Okay, it's open only one side like this. So blood moves, then close, and no back, right? That is a valve preventing backflow, right? So atria openings with valves. Next we go to the right atria function. Okay, so right atria, so generally the right atria is a large chamber compared to the left, right? And it collects the deoxygenated bloods. Here the carbon dioxide blood present. Okay, it collects deoxygenated blood from different body parts. If you take the deoxygenated bloods, okay, different body parts by caval veins, right? This is precaval vein or superior vena cava. Next, postcaval vein, this is postcaval vein or inferior vena cava. The one more caval vein, that is a coronary sinus, okay, collect deoxygenated blood from heart wall, right? So, right atria collects deoxygenated blood, okay, collects carbon dioxide blood or deoxygenated blood by three caval veins. Now we go to the three caval veins, like this is superior, right? This is superior vena cava, superior vena cava. This is inferior vena cava, this is inferior vena cava, and the one more, that is a coronary sinus. Total three caval veins. Okay, superior vena cava, this is superior vena cava, also called, okay, precaval vein. This is precaval vein. Collects deoxygenated blood from upper body parts, Now, inferior vena cava also called postcaval. This is postcaval vein. Okay, postcaval vein. Okay, postcaval vein collects deoxygenated blood from lower body parts, Okay, directly move towards right atrium. The coronary sinus collects deoxygenated blood from myocardium's heart. Okay, myocardium heart say collects. That is the right atria function, collects deoxygenated blood from different body parts. Okay, so these are the three caval veins. Next, the opening of the precaval veins, there is no valve here, right? no wall. Okay, so this is important notes. Here valves are absent. Okay, so like here the muscles, the opening muscles can regulate the opening of the like a precaval vein. Next to means once the blood enter into the atria, here the muscles get closed aperture and no back movements, right? And next is though like postcaval veins, the opening of the postcaval vein into the right atria, there is a wall, okay, there is a eustachian wall present here, okay, eustachian wall. Here no wall, no wall, okay, either eustachian wall present preventing backflow, only forward the bloods. And the coronary sinus, where coronary sinus opens into the right atria, the opening is guarded by sebaceous wall, right. This is the extra notes, okay, the wall. So finally total, okay, we have discussed 4 different walls: tricuspid, bicuspid, eustachian, sebaceous. The wall, okay, is a door-like structure, open only one sides and forward blood and preventing back movements. So this is right. Next, left atria. So left atria collects oxygenated bloods, collects like oxygenated bloods, oxygenated bloods. Okay, that is our left atria from the lungs, from the lungs. By this is the ducts, okay, called pulmonary vein, okay, pulmonary vein, okay. Pulmonary veins collects like oxygenated blood from the lungs, okay, and carry forward to the left atria. Whereas right atria collects deoxygenated blood, sorry, right, deoxygenated blood from different body parts. Left atria collects oxygenated blood from the lungs by the pulmonary vein. Next to, after the auricles, ventricles. So ventricles are the lower, large, thick wall chambers, also called pumping chambers, right. This is ventricle. So ventricles, okay, among the 2 ventricles, left ventricle is much more thick wall chamber than right, because it conduct systemic circulation, okay, pump blood to the long distance of the body parts. Hence it maintain thick wall structure than the right wall. Next, ventricles also separated by septum. This is inner ventricular. This is inner ventricular septum or barrier. Okay, so in the reptiles except crocodile, inner ventricular septum is incomplete. Okay, so that's why it's considered as a 3-chamber of heart. Whereas in crocodile, aves and mammal, inner ventricular septum is completely developed and divides ventricle into 2 separate, right and the left. That is inner ventricular septum. Okay, and next, the wall of ventricles contain projections, right. If you take the projections, so these are the projections. Okay, the muscular, the finger-like projections, very important, called columnae cornae or trabeculae cornae, right, projections like this, finger-like projections, called columnae cornae or trabeculae cornae, columnae cornae or trabeculae cornae. Some of these projections very long like this, very long and conical, cone-like structure called papillary muscles. Here, this structure is called papillary muscles. Papillary muscles. Okay, once again, the wall of ventricles inside muscular projections. That is a columnae cornae or trabeculae cornae. Okay, some of and among these Some are very long and conical, cone-like structure called the papillary muscles. In between the papillary muscles and the AV valves, the fibers, the cardiac tendinae is present, right? If you take the fiber, cardiac tendinae, this is fiber. Right, this is the fiber. In the left side also, fibers, right? Okay, this is the cardiac tendinae, green color, right? Cardiac tendinae, right? Cardiac tendinae, also called heartstrings. Heartstrings. Now, what is function of these tendinae striatum? Cardiac fiber diagrams. Okay, cardiac tendinae, okay, helps mainly maintain the AV wall positions. During the ventricle systole, okay, it's like AV wall closed, okay, and preventing back movements. Okay, due to the ventricular blood pressures, what happened? The AV walls, okay, preventing backflow. Okay, so ventricular pressure, what happened? They try to move back also, right? So if they move back, what happened? Ventricle blood, okay, back into the atrium. So that's why, so the cardiac tendinae helps, okay, preventing back movements, okay, preventing the back movements of the AV wall during the ventricle systole, okay. So that is the cardiac tendinae. Maintain the AV wall positions and preventing backside movements during the ventricle systole. That is very, very important, okay, for your objectivize. This is cardiac tendinae. Now, so now we go to the ventricles function. Out of the two, right, this is right ventricle sperm, okay, like which blood? Like carbon dioxide bloods, right? If you take, this is fetal stage, right? If you take like a adult stage of the ventricles, right ventricle, left ventricle. Right ventricle's blood captured by pulmonary trunk. This is the pulmonary trunk. Okay, pulmonary trunk divide pulmonary artery. This is pulmonary trunk. Okay, pulmonary trunk. Okay, carry the deoxygenated blood from the ventricle, right ventricles towards lungs. In the lungs, what happened? Exchange oxygen, okay, carbon dioxide. Next to left ventricle pump, okay, oxygenated blood towards body parts. This is ascending aorta, descending aorta, artery, arterioles, okay, the capillaries, here the capillaries, exchange. Means so, right ventricle's carbon dioxide blood, that is a deoxygenated blood, move towards lungs for exchange gas. Then after exchange, okay, the oxygenated blood move towards left atrium by the pulmonary veins, right? And this is pulmonary trunk, furtherly divide pulmonary artery. Generally artery means carry the oxygenator, but except pulmonary artery. Whereas the veins carry the deoxygenated blood, but except pulmonary veins. Pulmonary vein carry the oxygenated blood from lungs towards left atria. Pulmonary artery, okay, carry the deoxygenated bloods, that is a different, okay. And next to left ventricles, oxygenated bloods, okay, this is carbon dioxide bloods. Oxygenated blood move towards systemic body capillaries by the ascending, descending aorta, artery, arterioles and the capillaries, right. So after delivery, what happened? This is, okay, ductus arteriosus is present in the fetal stage. Ductus arteriosus is closed, okay, by tissue. This is tissue called ligamentum arteriosum. This is called the ligamentum arteriosum. Ductus arteriosus is present in the fetal stage. Ligamentum arteriosus is present after delivery onwards. The ductus arteriosus closed as it remained in between the pulmonary and the systemic trunk. That is a ligamentum arteriosum. And next, the opening. This is a pulmonary trunk, this is systemic trunk. Opening of these two trunks, there is a specific wall, right? This is called right semilunar. This is left semilunar. This is left semilunar. Right semilunar wall present right sides, in the pulmonary trunk openings, which helps forward blood in one direction. And the left semilunar wall present opening of the aorta, right? Forward blood into the one direction. Both the semilunar, right and the left, semilunar walls forward blood to the different trunks from the different ventricles and preventing backflow. So that is another wall. Pulmonary wall, systemic wall. Right semilunar, another name right semilunar. This is left semilunar. So this is ventricle structure. So finally, the ventricles like upper two chamber, the lower two chambers, with diagrams, functions closed. And the next, right, if you take the structure, right, this is external, superior vena cava, right, this is inferior vena cava, right, this is inferior vena cava, right, and the right and the left atria ventricle. This is external view diagram. If you take the internal view, this is internal, right and left atria and the ventricles. So if you take the diagram like cardiac tendinae, this is cardiac tendinae, right, heartstrings between the papillary muscles and the valves, AV valve, right, and this is the internal view. And next we go to the valves. If it takes the tricuspid wall, the bicuspid, this is tricuspid. Tricuspid wall present between the right and the right atria and the right ventricles. This is opening, right auriculoventricular opening is guarded by the tricuspid wall, preventing like a backflow, means only one direction blood from atria to ventricle. And the bicuspid wall, or mitral wall, forward blood from atria to ventricles and preventing backflow. This is tendinae, cardiac tendinae, heartstrings. This is wall. So we have discussed different walls, not only tricuspid, bicuspid, right? And the precaval veins opening, no wall, whereas inferior vena cava, postcaval vein opening, there is a wall, that is a eustachian. The coronary sinus collects deoxygenated blood from entire heart sent into the right atria, opening is guarded by sebaceous wall. And one more two valves, that is the semilunar, right, left. So right semilunar, left semilunar. So forward blood to the different trunks from the ventricles and preventing backflow. This is the chambers. Next we go to the fibrous skeletal of the heart, right. Fibrous skeletal of the heart is very important to triggering cardiac events, because fibrous skeletal of heart can generate action potential. So fibrous skeletal of heart includes nodal tissue. It is a specialized tissue in the heart, also called heart of the heart, that is fibrous skeletal of the heart. It is a skeletal system in the heart. that is fibrous skeletal in the heart. Okay, it is very important for the cardiac activities. Okay, for cardiac activity like auricle systole, ventricle systole and the diastole, okay, it need a action potential. Okay, the action potential triggered by this nodal tissue, right. The fibrous skeletal of the heart include a specialized, okay, nodal tissue, right, a specialized tissue that is a nodal tissue. Okay, nodal tissue, it includes two different nodes, that is a sinoatrial nodes, atrioventricular node. Sinoatrial node, okay, is a primary node and AV node, that is a atrioventricular node, is a secondary node. Right. Now we go to the locations of the nodes. The primary node, this is the primary node, sinoatrial node. The secondary node, atrioventricular node, AV nodes, right. These are the nodes. Both are nodal tissue structures. Okay, specialized tissue in the heart, okay, has the ability generate action potential, okay, without any external impulse. That is a autorhythmic nature. Means without any help can initiated action potential to triggering, okay, the cardiac events in the heart. That is importance of the nodal tissue. Whereas in that first, the primary node position objective is important. The primary node located right upper corner of right atria, right upper corner right atria near to the opening of superior vena cava. That is primary node position. Secondary nodes, the lower left corner, okay, lower left corner of right atria near to the barrier, that is a auriculoventricular barrier. So that is a two nodes position importance. In that, the primary node, okay, is also called pacemaker. Because initiated action potential without any help, right. So that is called the pacemaker because to generate action potential. Secondary node is also called relay points. It is also generate action potential, but compared to the primary nodes very less. Just okay, if you take the primary node produce action potential, like if you take the average action potential 70-75, right, it's maximum 100 action potential, okay, it can develop. That is a sinoatrial node. Secondary node, okay, generally is relay the action potential, primary node action potential towards ventricles, okay. So hence called relay station or relay point, okay, as well as initiate the action potential also, okay, along with the sinoatrial node, but compared to the sinoatrial node, the secondary node potential is less, like up to 60, 40 to 60, like this. That is our differences. And these two nodes collectively is known as nodal tissue. Now we go to the mechanism, right. This is the primary nodes generate action potential, and these action potential forward towards first auricle muscular age, right. This is a primary node generate action potential, okay, towards first towards atrial syncytium, okay, that is the auricle muscular age, first receive action potential. Then what happened when action potential carry forward to the auricle muscular atria become excited, the muscle get excited and the contraction, right. So that is a auricle, okay, syncytium when the receive action potential gets systole. Systole means auricle contraction. Then the blood carry forward to the ventricles. Auricles blood enter into the ventricles. Now we go to the secondary nodes. When the blood reach to the ventricles, the secondary node receiving the action potential as well as, okay, relay towards ventricles, musculature by the specialized structure, okay, arranged in the ventricles musculature. That is a bundle of ACE, bundle of branches, Purkinje fibers, right. This is, okay, like different structure in the ventricle musculature, right. From the secondary nodes, okay, bundle of S is arises. This is bundle of S, then divide into right and the left branches, that is a bundle of branch, okay, innervated into the ventricle musculature by the minute branches, that is called Purkinje fibers, right. And this is bundle of S, branches and the Purkinje fibers. Finally, the action potential, okay, carry forward to the ventricular musculature by this specialized structure. So, finally what happened? The action potential carry forward to the ventricle. When the action potential carry forward to the ventricle musculature, the muscles of the ventricles excite, get contraction, the bloods, okay, move towards different direction. Right ventricle's blood move towards pulmonary trunk, pulmonary artery towards lungs. Okay, the left ventricles oxygenated blood move towards, okay, ascending, descending aorta, artery, arterioles, the capillaries. Here exchange, right. So, that is a like a secondary node extension, right. And if you take the action potential movement in the hearts, first sinoatrial nodes, this is the primary node, generate action potential, also called the pacemaker, right. They carry forward to the auricle muscles, that is auricle or atrial sensation. Then the secondary node receive and forward to the ventricles by the different structure, AV bundle, this is AV bundle, okay, next bundle of branches, this is bundle of branches right and left, Purkinje fibers, right, minute branches, then ventricle sensation, okay, ventricle musculature. This is a sequencing, okay, flow chart about the action potential, right. For suppose if the damage of the primary nodes, the secondary node take the responsibility, okay, for triggering action potentials, but compared to the primary nodes, okay, it produce less action potential, okay, it averagely produce action potential like 70, 75 maximum, okay, to maximum hundreds. Whereas a secondary node, if the damage primary, secondary node also regulate the cardiac activities by generating the action potential. That is 40, you can take 40, right, 40, 45, 50 like this. And the secondary node also damage the ventricle like specialized structure like bundle of S, branches, Purkinje fibers also, okay, respond and they initiate action potential, but very less, just 20, 30 action potential per minute and regulate the cardiac activities, right. And if you take like a damage of these two nodes, what happened affecting on the, okay, the working nature of the hearts. Generally heart pump, okay, 5 liters of bloods, okay, to the different directions, okay, 5 liters of blood. Each ventricle pump almost 5 liters of blood to the different direction in the case of normal. For suppose if the loss of the primary node, secondary node produce action potential, but what happened? Delay compared to the primary nodes. That's why affecting on the blood pumping character, right? Body parts receiving the lack of bloods. So it leads to organ damage and etc. It leads to death also, right? In this case, what happened? Artificial pacemaker is necessity. If the damage of these two nodes, artificial pacemaker, okay, is available. In this method, artificially pacemaker inserted into the muscle, okay, the chest muscle, okay, and the artificial pacemaker is nothing but is a electrical device which contain the electrodes, right. It has the ability initiate an action potential. So from these pacemaker, artificial pacemaker, the two electrodes are inserted. For example, this is the hearts in the chest region, electrical devices inserted. This is artificial pacemaker, right. And these artificial pacemaker with the two electrodes, the electrodes inserted, electrode inserted into like hearts chambers like this, what happened? So this the battery, right? Artificial pacemaker or battery, okay, has the ability, okay, initiated like action potential. These action potential carry forward by the electrodes and they spread to the, okay, ventricles as well as like auricles. Results, okay, when the action potential present in the heart becomes systole. Okay, so that is a like a characteristic feature of the artificial pacemaker, right? This is applicable, okay, questions important. What is the advantage of the artificial pacemaker? If you take, like, it has the ability like a generate action potential to triggering the cardiac activities. In the case of like a damage of the nodal tissue, artificial pacemaker is very important for triggering the cardiac activities. And this is the fibroskeletal of hearts. So finally, okay, the structure of heart is closed. Okay, so this is like pericardium, introduction, right? And now the pericardium, right? And next to heart walls, different layouts, and the external view, right? The internal view diagram, okay, different walls, right? If it takes like the heart, okay, the detailed structure, okay, this is the detailed structure about the hearts. Finally, okay, the structure of heart with the fibroskeletal system of heart is closed. Okay, thank you.